All right, then let's go back to that story of the five suspects who are set to appear in court today on the matter of the cash in transit heists that have been taking place, the one that took place in Boksburg last week. Let's speak to Captain Ndivuo Mulamu on the line with us representing the Hawks this morning. Captain, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, do we have an idea at this point why there seems to be this spike in cash in transit heists? I mean, earlier on, we'd heard from an analyst and author who said, well, this is not really a spike in the heists, it's just really a spike in awareness of these heists that have been happening anyway.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. But to answer that question, quite frankly, we cannot confirm exactly why do we have a spike or a rise in cash in transit incidents. However, Flo, what would like to also comment is the public who is coming up with information that is assisting us with investigations so that we can also follow the lead on the whereabouts of the rest of the suspects in regard to these cash in transit that are happening in our country.
Now, you know, my colleague Richard raised the fact that these crimes seemed to be planned over some time. I mean, these are not criminals that wake up one morning and decide, you know, today we're going to, you know, do a cash in transit heist. These are crimes that are planned over time, serious planning needed. There are people that they have to buy, perhaps within, you know, the places where they will be performing these cash in transits, if one can put it that way. Shouldn't police be ahead of these criminals instead of chasing behind? Why are police sort of reactionary instead of taking preventative steps? It seems that they are always on the back foot.
Flo, remember there was an amendment on the submission or rendering of firearms or illegal firearms in the country. I think that was 5 years ago, and we still are of the opinion that we still have people in the community who are keeping these illegal firearms with them, and I think these crimes are also emanating from such attributes in our country whereby people are keeping these illegal firearms and they are trading them to these criminals, whereby these are the firearms that we are actually finding in our crime scenes, and it is unacceptable in the community. We can believe that these crimes are indeed planned ahead because you can tell with the explosives, the commercial explosives that we are finding in the crime scenes. There are explosives that you cannot just plan in a day that you are going to use them as detonators to explode these armored vehicles in the country, which are actually escorting the money.
Now, you know, one of the thought behind these cash in transit heists is that there may be police that are involved and police that are perhaps to blame for what's going on. I mean, one situation is the fact that cash in transit companies have said that they have these intelligence networks and they know who these criminals are, who these perpetrators are, and who the likely suspects are. And it seems that the police are not taking heed of these sort of warnings that are coming from these cash in transit companies. Is this true? Is it true that the police are not using those sort of crime intelligence, and that's why crime intelligence is sort of compromised due to how police are handling the matter and not being ahead of the criminals?
Flo, we cannot rule out the fact that the community or the public is suspecting that we do have other law enforcement agencies who are actually perpetrating, you know, this kind of incidents. However, we would like to call upon anyone who has such information to come forward so that these law enforcement agencies, which are actually suspected to have been colluding with the criminals in the country, to be brought to book also, because you'll remember, Flo, nobody is above the law. Be it a law enforcement agency member or a public member, if you are actually committing crime in our country, the law is as simple as that. You're going to have to suffer the consequences. You're going to have to be brought forward to the book of law.
Now, what more do you think, you know, as you speak for the Hawks, what more can the authorities, the police, the Hawks do in order to sort of prevent these cash in transit heists? I mean, you know, when the current police minister, Begitele, was sworn into office, a lot of people were celebrating because there was this understanding that, you know, Begitele, we know in the past when he was a police commissioner, national police commissioner, he was very hard on criminals. He had a hard stance on criminals. And now people are going, well, we have Bheki Cele back, and, he's in the fold, and now he's in the highest portfolio of being the police minister. And here we go. We've still got these cash in transit heists. So what more actually should be done? And what has the minister been, communicating with regards to this?
Flo, on the ground, we have the crime intelligence who are working hand in hand with the National Bureau of Illegal Firearms Control and Priority Crime Violence in the country, and as well as members of the community. And we also plead to the public, whoever has information regarding all these, scourge of crime, of cash in transit that are happening in the country. We'll really appreciate if they come forward. Remember, as the SAPS, as the hawks in the country, we cannot do this on our own. We really appreciate those who are coming up with information, and also, the fact that the minister is behind us, is supporting us, and we also appreciate the fact that everybody with information is coming forward, and we're going to have to bring the perpetrators to book.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Of course, we will keep updating the public on the story of the cash in transit heist, because certainly it is a very concerning one. There are passers-by, you pass these cash in transit vehicles, and, it's really a national issue and a national problem, and I know there is a huge concern about it. So certainly we will be keeping you updated on this particular case, and also just going forward in terms of preventative measures. Right.